Always keep in mind the great thing about all of this bending element is, first of all, the action of doing the bend so the bend is in tune. Then second, the manipulation of the bend. Do you want the bend to be a reverse bend? Do you want it to go up and come back down? Do you want it to go up and stay up? Do you want to repeatedly pick it? You know, I mean, there's so many different things that you can do with it. But then the next step is understanding as you develop these bends, you have to plant them into your ability to play. Okay. Now, if you're learning a song and you're just not very good at bending, this is exactly what you need. But if you're looking at really trying to learn how to improvise, obviously there's far more to discuss than we're going to be doing in this video. But something that I always think about with bending is, where am I coming from? And then where am I going to? Where am I coming from before the bend to set my fingers up? And then where am I going to go afterwards, right? And we talked a little bit about where you could go afterwards. For instance, if I do a third string bend, I could go up to this string or up to this note right here or there or whatever. Now, can I go to notes lower than me? Sure. I mean, you can go anywhere. That's the beauty of creativity. But I want you to understand the most common things to do. So you have your 3 basic bends that you're doing inside this pentatonic shape, and then you have all the various kinds of techniques that you can do with them, the effects that you can do with them. You know, siren bending and, you know, or, you know, any of those kind of things that you want to do with that bend. And then you have the connections, the anchors that you can do from those bends. The first string really doesn't have an anchor because you don't have any strings underneath. Now, again, you could try and anchor over the top, but it's a little less effective, okay? Like, you know, if I do that, I really think of that more as like string skipping, where when I do this, I can play both notes at the same time and create a sound out of that, okay? So those are the 3 whole step bends. Now, the truth is anything can be bent up a whole step as long as the note that you're bending from and the note that you're bending to make logical sense. If you're just bending all over the guitar, it's just going to sound, again, really weird, like you're talking to aliens. So the action of the bend is really important, because even if you don't really know how to improvise, you can still use it when you're learning how to play your favorite songs, and that's awesome. But if you want to further your education and really learn kind of how things work on the fretboard, you know, the goal with music is that if I play a chord and you sing, the sound that comes out of your mouth should match somehow something of what I'm playing with my chord. That's the premise of what music is, obviously, is that there's rhythms that make sense between the musicians, and then there's pitches that make sense between the musicians. So these 3, even if you didn't really know what you were doing, those 3 bends are really great. They're very rock and roll and very blues, and they're very functional without having to really know a lot about what you're doing. The goal is to do them correctly, and then figure out what effect you want, and then figure out where you're coming from, and more importantly at this point, where you're going to, which is your anchored ideas, how you can anchor to other places, okay? So what we're going to do is I'm just going to, before we move on to the next section, I just want you to set you up with some little ideas, little licks that you can use with these. So I'm going to start off just doing the 3rd string of the 7th fret. So what I'm going to do here is do this, and I just want you to repeat these. They're going to be in your tablature. Okay, so the first one is just simply this. You're going to go. Okay, and remember, as I'm doing that, I am deadening the 3rd string with the tip of my index finger, and we already discussed that, but you'll notice how I'm taking my 3rd finger off each time. And so as I play, they're coming off. And that 3rd string then, luckily, is dying. It stops vibrating because it touches the tip of my index finger. So what you're doing is just doing a group of 3. You're going 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? Then I want you to do the same thing, but I want you to do groups of 2. You're just going to go. Then you're going to do a group of 4. Then I'm going to do what I call the ladder. I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 3, 2. So I'm going to do a group of 2, 1, 2, and then a group of 3, 1, 2, 3. then a group of 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, then a group of 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a group of 2. So I'm just going up and coming back down. So it sounds like this. You see? So I'm doing a group of 2, group of 3, group of 4, and then going back. 4 notes, 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes. So you can kind of get comfortable with that.